Hey you guys, it's Amy Gretchen. So in this video, I am going to do a layout using Ali Edwards' current stories by the month kit. So this comes out in June, but it is actually July themed. So I'm just gonna open up this packet and show you the contents inside before I get started on the layout. So like always, there are cards, a chipboard set, and then some stamps. This is a small 3x4 size stamp. So let's go ahead and jump into the cards. And I always like to be careful opening up these little envelopes because these are great to use in your project life or in other smaller albums. All right, so just right off the bat, I can see that this is probably a getaway theme just because it being in July, a lot of people are going on vacation. I really love that font there. Travel is about finding those things you never knew you were looking for. I think that's a great sentiment. This is actually something you could probably cut here, and it even has this notch, which I think could be really cute in project life. The stuff you want to remember and just a list of things you want to remember, and then July stories. Well, yeah, let's do the 3x4 cards. The story goes like this, and then with the adventure, I'm hoping this is focused. I don't think that it is. Looks like my camera is going to die in just a second. And then I've got rest and relax, weekend adventures, bring on the details. Super love this vacation. So yes, a lot of these are vacation themed. Field notes, memories, celebrate the 4th of July. So we got a good one for July, the 4th of July in our itinerary. Here's what's happening. So those are some great cards. I really love the colors here. Then we've got a great chipboard set with just a whole bunch of different shapes. Love the hearts, love the little banner, stuff like that. And then here's the stamp set. So I think this Bring on the Adventures is a lot of fun because you could obviously use that for more than just travel. Never Stop Exploring, that's a good one too. So just a lot of great sentiments for traveling. This Weekend Adventures is really awesome as well. So anyways, just a lot of different options to be able to use with your projects. So here is what I'm using. Oh, and here's the marketing card that comes. Travel sparks our imagination, fuels our curiosity, and reminds us how much we all have in common. Really like this one. This would be great as a title card. So this is what I've got for the kit, and I'm actually going to put this aside for a sec, and I'm going to pull over what I'm going to be using for this spread. Let me just pull out a little bit. All right, so I have decided to do an older spread because all of these are very, vacation or travel based. I thought it would be great to use on one of the adventures we had. So this is from 2014. I'm continuing to work through my 2014 album, and this is from spring break actually. So I believe it's March, like at the very end of March, and then April. And you can see that I have a ton of ephemera from that trip there. So I've got a lot of photos and not a ton of space for 3x4 cards, but I might end up using an insert or something like that just to get a little more in. But this is the spread that I'm going to be using. We were in Las Vegas and St. George. All right, you guys, so just jumping right into this spread. I am not entirely sure if I lost some footage here, but I'm noticing that now I've got the cards in place. So I've gone ahead and I've chosen the cards from the kit that I want to use. You can also see that I took that 4x6 card, that pink card underneath, and I kind of cut it off. I don't believe I end up using that pink card, but I actually end up using the other side. So definitely stay tuned for that. So since I've got all of my photos in place and all of my cards, I'm going to move on to doing some embellishments and some designing. So I really like the stamps here, and I wanted to add some to my photos. And you can see that I grabbed over this white StazOn ink. And the reason why I had that plastic grid on my photo, while it helps me to make sure that I'm getting it straight, It actually helps so that I don't damage the photo because those stamps are so sticky. I've had it before where I've put it right on the photo and then tried to pick it up with this Misti tool. That's what this stamp positioner tool is called. And it like pulled off some of the ink or some of the paper from the photo. So that's why I use that grid. It's actually from Simon Says Stamp, and I will have it linked below if you're interested. You could just actually use like a piece of acetate or like the small piece that came with the stamp, you know, that backs the stamp. You could use that as well. The other thing that I'm doing here is I am double stamping. So that stamp right there, Bring On the Adventure, that actually looked really good and came out really quite crisp. The other one wasn't so great, and I think I actually end up going over it one more time after it's dry and it gets a little bit more dimension. So I definitely have a love-hate relationship with Stays On ink because I had these photos printed at Costco like a long time ago. I had these printed. That's one of the things I like to do when I'm behind is print photos when I have time and then stick it in the pockets until I can go back and tell the stories, right? And so I do a lot of mass printing. And when I do a lot of mass printing, I'll do it at a place like Costco. Although I would probably suggest maybe somewhere like Persnickety, I think does a little bit better than Costco, but it is a little bit more expensive. So at any rate, the prints at Costco are very slick. And so just using a regular like white pigment ink, like the Hero Arts pigment ink that I like to use a lot, it does not stick very well. So that's why I went with the Stays On. And the Stays On really is kind of like it's almost like a paint. I don't know how to explain it. It was really hard to come off my stamp. I was able to get it off, and you'll see that I'll stamp that Travel Stories again in black, and it stamps just great. So it does come off the stamp, but it had the feel of almost like paint once it dried. So anyway, that's why I think it's able to stay on the photo so well. But I struggle with the Stays On that they dry out, the inks dry out so quickly. So you will definitely need to purchase with the white or the black, you'll need to purchase a re-inker. And I have done that. I actually just purchased a re-inker for my black, and the white one, I believe the white one actually comes with it. So every time I pull it out, I end up re-inking it just because they dry out so quickly. And I think it's because it's a little bit more like paint. Anyway, that's just how it reacts. All right, so you saw that I pulled over the chipboard, and I was just kind of putting them around the spread and figuring out how I wanted to lay those out. So that card right there, that's the other side of that pink card. So I just cut it right in half, and it said something about, so I think it said something about finding what I found on my trip or something. I can't remember the exact words. I should grab it and look at it, but I can't even see it from my point of view either. But I thought it worked really well with the memories and then the story that I ended up telling there. So I was pretty happy about that. So when I pulled off that black and white photo to add the chipboard to, I realized that there was a color photo underneath. So I'm not sure when I made the decision to go black and white instead of color, but I actually like the color a little bit better, especially because the chipboard was gray, and so it stood out just a little bit instead of kind of like melting into the background. So I went ahead and just took the black and white out and went ahead and used the color there. So I think the next thing that I'm going to do is work on the title card. So my thinking was that I wanted this to be centered. Of course, it doesn't end up being completely centered, because then I look at that Go chipboard and I was like, oh, that would be really cute there. But in order to do it, it makes it off center. It's honestly not that big of a deal. It is noticeable to me, but I don't care. It wasn't something that I was going to go try and reprint. And I didn't even have the digital for this, right? Because this was the kit. Everything just came together. But I think she has the digitals of all of this on her website. So if you're interested in purchasing that as well, that's something that you're able to do. But my intention was to make it centered, but I really liked having that go there and that pop of yellow and just the half circle that interacted with the card. So I was really happy about that. Right there, I am actually cleaning off some of the StazOn ink, and I'm not sure how it got on the plastic, but like I said, like it doesn't just rub off. Like it's literally almost like paint. So I had to kind of rub it and scrape it off of that page protector. All right, so sitting here just trying to make decisions about, how everything's looking and what I want to do next. And I decided to do some journaling. So for the itinerary card, I had too much to say. And so I thought it would be better to type it out instead of write it out, because I knew that even if I took both sides, I probably with my handwriting wouldn't be able to get it all in. So I went ahead and I created a 3x4 card in Photoshop, printed it out, made sure I had a border so I knew where to put my card, stuck the card onto the piece of paper, and then just ran it through my machine or my printer. And you can see that it printed out really great. It is just a little off, and I think that's because when I was putting my paper through the printer, it like caught it on an angle, so it didn't go through 100% straight, but not a big deal. I love the look of having type and handwriting on to my spread. All right, you guys, so I realized that I covered up a photo that I actually wanted to tell a story about. So I thought it would be great to create a flip up. So this photo, and I hope my daughter doesn't kill me, but she had to go to the bathroom really badly, and we were in the middle of nowhere. So we just stopped on the side of the road and let her go to the bathroom. And I can't remember who took that photo. I would have said that that was something that I would have done, but I'm actually in the picture. I had like a blanket out and kind of covering her because she was very embarrassed. But I thought I realized that I had covered up that photo, and I just thought that was too good of a story to leave out. Like, I just thought it was really funny and something that she would love to remember in years to come. So I decided just to create a flip up. So I cut the photo down and wrote a little bit of a journaling, just wrote the story underneath that photo with the date on there as well. Just use the date, rolling date stamp. And now I'm going to create a flip up and then just stick it right into the pocket. And that way I've got the card that says super love this vacation, or whatever that card says. I've already forgotten. And then I've got the story underneath, this funny story about our experience. So if I had it my way, I would definitely just have spreads with stories like this. I really like being able to highlight little details and things that happen throughout the trip, things that you will never forget. Things that you would almost always forget if you didn't write them down. So really glad that that photo jogged my memory and that I decided to actually put that in there, because like I said, I think my daughter will get a kick out of that in a few years. So I created that flip up using washi, and instead of putting washi on the outside, I'm just going to leave it blank and just put the washi on the inside. And then I decided that I wanted to do some stamping right on the back side of that 3x4 card, just because I thought it needed a little something. And of course, you guys, I can never stamp without getting that black ink all over. I think it has something to do with the lid, but anyway, it is my favorite ink, so I will continue to use it. This is where you're seeing me use that travel story stamp, and it is stamping out really great. It's like I said, it does have some white ink on it still a little bit, but not on the raised stamp part. So really like the way just liked having 3 of those in a row. And I apologize for you having to see my head, but it was really the only way to be able to get on top of it and to be able to see where I was stamping. So I apologize for that. And that is the flip up. So I've got a little something on the backside just to give it some interest. And it was definitely one of my favorite travel stories from our trip. And like I said, I just really love having that super love this vacation as a flip up. So it's definitely an option. And I wanted it to be more obvious that it was a flip up than it was. So I'm going to put an Avery tab. And this time I decided to use my 1 inch. So I have a 1 inch tab and a 2 inch tab. So I decided to grab the 1" and I'm just looking for some of these phrase stickers that would work really well with these phrase stickers. I believe these are the ones that came in her travel kit, Allie's travel kit that she just put out. I believe, however, that kit is sold out, unfortunately, but that was a kit. That was actually something I really loved playing with as well. So if you'd like to see my travel album that I've created, you guys go sign up for Allie's class, because it is going to be in her class. And I'm just going to tell you right now, it's a good one. Like, I loved working on it, and I was super, super happy with how it turned out. So if you want to check it out, I've got a full hour process video of putting that album together. And so anyways, hopefully you guys will like that. You won't see it on my YouTube channel because it was exclusively for Allie's class, but it is a reasonably priced class. So definitely check that out. Okay, so just doing the last bit of journaling here on this card, and I remembered what it said. That fine print said, here's what I found. And then of course I've got the memories chipboard, and I let that really be my story prompt, and talked a lot about how I have found that I just really love traveling with my girls and traveling with my family. So that is what that story is all about. And then you guys, I am done with this spread. So I believe that I switch out one of the phrases. I think that there was something on there, and I can't remember what it was, that worked a little bit better. It probably had something humorous or something about it, but it worked better with the story, so I decided to swap that out. But then you guys, I am completely done with this spread. Thank you so much for watching. I really hope you're able to get some inspiration using the Stories by the Month kit. If you like what you saw, you guys, don't forget to hit that like button, and if you haven't subscribed, definitely do so. Hit that bell so you can get a notice of when I've got new videos. Thank you guys so much again, and we will see you in the next one. Bye.